Welcome back everybody to another pomade review, and today we'll be taking a look at another gel type pomade. And the pomade we'll be taking a look at today is Lucky Brown. Now this is the newest pomade that rolled off the Pomade shop line, and some of you might know it as Pomade shop. They're basically German pomade dealers that specialize in classic pomades. They have a few German homebrews on their website, as well as some water-based pomades. They also have their own individual line of products, and their best known one is Dapper Dan, known for their pomades, hair tonics and aftershaves, and very recently, Lucky Brown, which is their newest water-based pomade, and it's said to have nourishing properties and does not harden to give a helmet head feel. Now, first of all, I gotta thank the guys down at the Pomade shop headquarters in Altebrunn. A big thank you to them, and I want to give a shout out to their website and YouTube channel, and I'll leave a link in the description below. And yes, this product was sent to me for free, and that calls for a disclaimer. Everything you hear me say in this video is 100% honest and based on my personal experiences, and I was not paid to do this video, and it's not just one giant promotion. It's not skewed in any way, and all my opinions and thoughts on this product are completely honest. I was not paid to do this at all. So with that being cleared out, let us talk about the pomade. It comes in a 4-ounce plastic jar and has a poker theme to it. The screw top plastic lid has, it resembles a poker chip, and there's the Lucky Brown logo there. And on the side of the can you have the logo again with water-based pomade under it. And on one side you have the directions of use in German and English, and the ingredients list right here. Now if you open the lid, you'd find a cola colored pomade, which actually reminds me of Uppercut Deluxe and Suavecito Firme and the like. So let's scoop this out. But first I need to down my hair a little bit, but not too much. Now I find that this gel type water-based pomade is actually denser compared to a typical one, because if you take Layrite, for example, and just tap the bottom, you would have sort of like a ringing sound, a ringing vibration to it. But with Lucky Brown, if you tap the bottom, it does not ring at all. It has more of a body to it. It is denser than an average gel type. If you scoop it out, it's really smooth. And it definitely feels somewhat denser compared to an average gel type pomade. And scooping it down, breaking it down, it has a very tacky texture and sticky feel to it. And for something so sticky, it actually does not have so much of a resistance. And it just applies really, really easily. I need to focus my camera a little bit. Now I'll just take one more scoop. The scent gets more dominant as you break it down. And I find that damp and dry hair application is not much different from each other. But it's just that with damp hair, you get slightly less control than on dry hair. But anyway, even with damp or dry hair, it does not really have so much. It doesn't have so much of a level of control that I actually would enjoy. I'll take one last lick, and that's enough pomade in the hair for today. There's absolutely no tugging, and there's some slight resistance, so this pomade is really easy to apply. And now let's slick it back using the comb. Combing it is also really easy. There's hardly much resistance, but the control is actually surprisingly quite underwhelming for me. For something that is quite sticky, I expected it to have more of control to it. I mean, it's not the worst, but it's not too good either. It just has sufficient, I would say that's sufficient control, but not good. It's just enough. especially when you're building your pompadour front, you might feel that it would just flop at any moment. But one great thing about this pomade is that it's actually pretty lightweight. That means that you would be able to build quite a decent amount of volume, because obviously the more weight something has, the more flattened down your hair would be. And also when it comes to building the shape of my hairstyle, especially with the pompadour, with an average gel type pomade, I usually get something that looks pretty blocky and flat and straight. But just like an oil-based pomade, I get sort of a natural roundedness to it. I'm able to build sort of a round shape. But then this pomade is sticky in the hands, but once it's in the hair, it gets less sticky and the control becomes less apparent. And that's what we find to be one of the weaknesses of this pomade. And also another feature that I find this pomade really lacks is proper slickness. I mean, usually even with other gel type pomades, my sides would be a little tighter than this. And as if this is not enough slickness already, after the pomade sets, my sides would expand a little more. So basically what your hair's natural poofiness is, it won't do much. It would just tighten up just a tiny bit, but whatever your hair's natural poofiness is, that's pretty much what your hair would pretty much look like on the sides. It has sort of a really underwhelming slickness in my opinion. And now the shine level on it. You would start out with sort of a low to medium-ish kind of shine, but very quickly it would dull out and give a natural shine. Some of you might be disappointed by this, but it is absolutely no problem at all, because prior to the product being sent to me, I had a talk with the guys at Pomade shop, and he told me what this pomade is designed to do and what it's designed to have. And I was told that it's supposed to have a natural shine, and this is exactly what it does. It has sort of a neutral shine that's, I wouldn't say it's matte, but it just would eventually dull out to what your hair's natural shine is. It wouldn't look like it had any single shine product to it whatsoever. So you would have a very slight added shine initially, but after it sets, it just goes down to your hair's natural level of shine. As you can see, there's not enough slickness in order to keep everything just locked into place. However, the lack of slickness can be compensated by and also work together with its natural shine in a way that you can not only do a slick hairstyle, but you can also do more of a loose and even texturized hairstyle, even though of course you would prefer clays and paste for that. But still, this pomade at least shows a bit of versatility because of its very natural shine and not much of a blocky shape to it, and not much slickness. You can also do sort of a looser hairstyle. It is not as good as, I would even say Suavecito performs better when it comes to a slicker hairstyle, but this still performs better when it comes to forming sort of a round shape to it. And the scent, the longevity of the scent, it would linger all day. The scent would not dull out whatsoever, and you would definitely notice it throughout the day, and it's towards the end of the day you would still notice the scent. It may fade out very slightly, but it's almost the same as when you just first applied it. And now this is what my hairstyle looks like. You can see I have some hairs over here that are just not completely locked into place, but still I have a relatively rounded shape for a decent looking pompadour with a decent amount of height. So when it comes to the hold of this stuff, it's meant to be sort of a medium to firm hold, but for me it doesn't get to a level where I would describe it to be sort of a higher firm hold. However, it holds itself more like a medium to me, but it's one of those pomades with an invisible hold in a way that, because it has a really lightweight feel in the hair, I initially thought, especially during styling, I thought that it wouldn't really hold up to the day. It would pretty much be almost like a light water-based pomade, but it turns out it actually does hold up more than it feels it should. It holds more like a medium, but to me, but not exactly sort of a higher medium firm. It's not really so strong in my particular hair type. Another thing I noticed is that initially, when you just apply it, it starts out as a slightly wet product, but it just firms up. When it firms up, it just turns into a really dry product. Your hair will just feel like you're using a paste or something. It just turns into a very dry feeling of a product and not really much like a typical gel type pomade. And just as advertised, it does not give any helmet head feel to it whatsoever. It does not harden at all and remains malleable all day. But when it comes to restyling, boy, we do have to talk about that. When you use a wet comb to restyle your hair with this pomade in, it actually does restyle as it should with as any other gel type water-based pomade. But with dry hair styling without wetting my comb whatsoever, I get some little brown flakes, which is something that a gel type water-based pomade really shouldn't have. I mean, products like Suavecito, Uppercut, and Layrite, they provide a helmet head feel and they harden to some extent, but they do not flake. Lucky Brown, however, it does not get that helmet head feel, and my hair remains rather soft for something of like a gel type pomade. But still, even with dry restyling, I get some brown flakes with it, which I was actually quite surprised to find those flakes when it actually does not even harden a single bit. And when it comes to the washability, it just goes up with just water. It's water soluble. You don't even need to use a random shampoo, just as advertised. And my final verdict on Lucky Brown, it is not the best pomade ever, but it's not the worst either. I mean, it has some areas which I believe they really need to improve on, such as the lack of slickness and the flaking problems. And, to me, the hold isn't really as efficient as advertised. However, it really shines out. It really does what it's supposed to do in some factors, such as the fact that it remains malleable all day, and that it provides the natural shine that it should, as well as really easy application and styling, despite just not really enough control for me. And another thing I should really mention is that it's designed to nourish your hair at the same time because it contains castor and coconut oil. But for me personally, even after the shower, I find that my hair still feels rather dry, as if I'm using just as any other gel type pomade. So it's not really the most nourishing thing ever, and it does not really do a sufficient job, in my opinion, for nourishing my hair. So overall, this pomade has some things which it's really good at, but it has some areas that it really needs improvement on. It's not the worst pomade ever, but I wouldn't really use this a lot, to be honest. In fact, I would probably there's some better gel type pomades out there, in my opinion, that don't really harden, such as Lockhart's Paradox and Damon Barber. These also have so-called nourishing properties, but I didn't notice that they don't really give me the drying effects just like Lucky Brown does. And I actually would rather use these gel type pomades rather than Lucky Brown, if I'm being completely honest over here. And so that's my final thoughts on Lucky Brown. It is said that oil-based pomade users who don't really like gel type water-based pomades can actually really appreciate this stuff, but that all boils down to your opinion. I mean, I totally get the malleability, the all-day malleability, but I just don't really like how it actually flakes through dry hair styling, as well as the control not being that equal to other better gel type water-based pomades, or even an oil-based pomade. So this is just okay, in my opinion. So if you enjoyed this review, please leave a like, comment, subscribe to this channel, and click on the bell icon so I don't miss a single upload of The Squinty Show, and I'll see you next time on The Squinty Show.